Hey everybody. So I made a post the other day where I told you I'd make a video about what it is that the Lord has invited me into this year that has not necessarily been easy, but it has been fulfilling and satisfying. Um, because it's allowed the Lord to be able to do more and to reveal more and draw me into deeper dependence and trust in Him. Um, so About a year ago, I got this word as I was working. As you guys know, I've had been in a fabrication shop, working like a 9 to 5 for the last couple of years while doing ministry as well. Um, been able to travel with my now wife to different countries and disciple and train and equip missionaries. And I got to be a male discipler for those different groups that have come through in the last couple of years through an organization that she works for called Adventures in Missions, and that I also did the world race on when I went on my mission trip for the year. Um, that we're still very much involved with because it's been such a life changing experience, and we want to be able to share that and also equip and pour into those who have the same desires to go to the nations as we continue to go as well and join them in ministry when we go overseas with them to meet them and train them and equip them for the different regions of the world they're in. Um, so right now we're still doing that. We're still going and we're still support raising, and the Lord has been gracious in providing. But about a year ago, like I said, the Lord has kind of gave me a word one day as I was working. He said, I want you to flip the way that you operate and the way that you think on its head. Because my mindset has been like, I'll work and I'll go do the kingdom as it presents itself. And I'll participate. Not that kingdom's only in missions, but this is like the call and the direction the Lord wants me to go. Um, and it's been hard to release. He said, flip it on its head. Um, put first the kingdom and like allow the things to follow that need to be followed. So what he was saying was like, go seek my will for your life first and put work second. Not that it's not important that it shouldn't be done, but put work second. And it's been hard to release because the Lord has asked me to release and like trust a different system. Um, that which is new can't fit into old wineskins. The Lord wants to do something new, so He needs a new structure to do that with. Um, and this year, and it's about a year of like a wrestle in my heart, hearing the Lord very clearly, knowing what He's asking of me to release this system of the 9 to 5 so that I could be more free to worship Him and to pursue His will for my life, to be more free to minister and actually get to pour into these guys that He's entrusted with, and be more involved with my wife in the ministry and pursue this thing together and like have a more fulfilling, satisfying life, knowing I'm doing what He's asking me. But it's been hard to do that. Not that I've been stagnant in the kingdom, but the Lord has more and He wants to give me more. But it was very hard to trust in this last year, to release, especially just being freshly married in October to my wife, Jenna, um, and like to trust the Lord with that. He told me He wanted to provide for us both. He wanted to sustain us in this and like open up doors that no man can close. And this year, the Lord has presented me with an opportunity. Uh, Without me choosing it, sadly, not sadly, like the Lord is gracious and He met me in that, um, to put me in a position where I had to trust Him this year, um, and put me in a position where I had to release and see what He wanted to do. And it's put me in a place where I've really had to depend on Him. I'm now in a position where I'm using my handy skills. I'm able to make my own schedule and pick up jobs as they come, as a handyman, and pursue His kingdom. Like that, we just got a training camp, and I got to be involved in it in a greater capacity, um, and be more involved in like ministering to my wife and ministering together with her, and being able to be more involved in like the missional discipleship that He's called us to in this season. I feel like. And He gave me an opportunity. I could have saw it as an opportunity to stress and to try to strive and to fix everything and to try to do the most and end up even more unsatisfied. Not that I was dying or anything spiritually, but I was truly now looking at it on this side of things where the Lord has been able to provide the work and to lead me and guide me now and have freedom to go where he leads, um, the Lord has really shown up in that, and he's brought fulfillment and satisfaction to Mark because there's rest in the will of the Lord. But a lot of times it takes a release of what is comfortable. For me, like comfort became an idol to me, just about. Comfort and surety and the ability to know and have like an understanding of where my next paycheck would come from, and have an understanding and a control over um, my finance. Not that those things are bad, but when we begin to exalt those above what the Lord could be inviting us into, you're going to feel unsatisfied even though you're comfortable, because comfort doesn't always equal satisfaction and fulfillment. And for me, like, man, now on the other side of this, feeling the amount of fulfillment and satisfaction that comes from being able to depend on the Lord and follow him where he leads, and to hear his voice and follow, not feel restricted by a schedule that is already made out. I mean, our lives are short. Our lives are like a breath, the Lord says. Um, it's like a vapor to the Lord. Like, we come and we have our time here and we leave. If God is all encompassing and he died on the cross for us, and we really believe that he brought us into a new way of living and a new way of thinking that Christ gave us a structure for, and that's the goal of life, is to know God and to be filled with his love and his heart and go do the calling that he puts on your life. Like, we're wasting time when we're outside of that. We don't have a lot of time, and the Lord has things for us that he wants to invite us into and give us what he calls his bread, his daily bread, his living bread. That is his life. And that comes and like bread gives substance and fulfillment, and satisfaction, but his is for our spirits and our souls. I can tell you right now, if you just really get honest with yourself and check your spirit, ask your spirit if it's satisfied. Like, are you actually in the will of the Lord? Or are you doing what's comfortable and kind of incorporating Jesus into your life that you've created for yourself? Or what would it look like to lay everything down, say, Lord, I want to do what you would have me to do, and I'll follow where you lead, and I'll trust what the process in the midst of that, and allow the Lord to show up and begin to show your calling and why he created you, and follow that plan. That's where you'll find life. That's where you'll find satisfaction. It's not easy and it's not always comfortable, but it's fulfilling. And you're in constant communion and fellowship and trusting and dependence on that life-giving spirit that will satisfy, fulfill, and bring you abundance in life. Because that's what he offers. He offers abundant life. And when we start controlling and try to be comfortable and like our certainty and to have control over what happens, like, we quench what the spirit is doing. It's not a bad life. It's not like it's a wrong thing to do. I know people got families, we have jobs, we have responsibilities, but the Lord is bigger, and he has the ability and the power to provide and do things and cover our families, our responsibilities more than we ever could if we just decided to trust him with all of it. And that's hard to do. It's not an easy thing. It took me a year, and I didn't even choose it. He put me in a position where I could see that, taste and see that he was good. And I am now on the other side of that, and like following the Lord. It hasn't been easy, but it has been fulfilling. And I know the Lord's going to begin and continue to. He's already showed up in so many ways and provided in ways I did not see coming, and has began to open up doors that I didn't even see coming, that no man can close. He's the one doing it. And it's just been a beautiful thing. So this year, I'm going to continue to walk and trust in the Lord and see where he leads, and give him the opportunity just to show up and show out and show me who he is, as I learn how to depend more on him in that, um, and lead my wife and lead a life that is honorable and integrous before the Lord, as my heart submits to what he's asking. Um, so I just kind of wanted to share that, and also invite you guys into an opportunity. I'm getting ready to go to India and Nepal, to meet and equip the missionaries that we're leading this year, and the men of God that are being trained up in the faith and out there experiencing life with God and complete abandonment of their lives that they know, to follow him, to see where he leads, and to do missions with him globally. We're going to go meet them and join them in ministry, and do some trainings and equippings while they're out there. and also have one in Turkey later this year, where we'll be going to the 7 churches to pray over those different spots where the 7 original churches were that were in Ephesus and or that were in Turkey. That's where they were established. Those churches, the Revelation churches that you see the letters written to. So we're gonna go pray, and we're gonna go just intercede in those places for the very foundation of the church to be rebuilt where it was started, and it's going to be awesome. And I'm gonna need funding for that as I continue to work with my hands and also put the kingdom first and do ministry and to partner with my wife and like bringing His kingdom to earth, um, and just following where the Lord leads. So I'm still needing to fundraise like a part-time side so I can continue to do this more full time. So I'm just releasing this and asking for you guys. I leave next week, and I have a goal of now 1,400 that I'm trying to raise. So it'd be awesome if you would just consider and pray into supporting me this year, and supporting this trip. You can give a one-time donation. Our monthly donations. Sign up for a monthly subscription. And a reoccurring just donation. That would be really greatly appreciated as well, so I can have more longevity in this. But for right now, I really just need, if anybody is willing and able to just give a donation that would help me cover flights and my time on the field and rent here, while I'm overseas paying another rent. And it's just, it does take finances, but I know the Lord is good and He will provide, and He already has been, and it's going to be good. But the kingdom works in a way where we all can participate in it. You don't have to go. You don't have to be the missionary. Your calling could be right now to support those who go. There's literally a very small fraction, like less than 5% of the the church funds that actually go, and I'm talking about the global church, that actually go to missions in the 1040, which is where these nations are that we send our missionaries. They go to where the gospel is unreached, or where these people are unreached and the gospel is not actively being poured into those for people to know and to hear. There's people out there that have never heard or even understood or been told about who Jesus actually is as the Son of God. Um, and that's like the passion that me and Jenna have. Like, we want to go, we want to equip people to go, and we want to be a part of like that active movement of telling people God. How will they know unless they have heard, you know? Um, and that's kind of our heart and our passion. And there's literally less than 5% of like funds in the global church that go toward people going or go toward missions in those areas. And that's why the gospel is being quenched in those areas. And it's hard to get people over because there's just not finances and funding to go. But the money's there. The money's there. But there's not really an important, or what it seems like to be a great priority on the Great Commission, that which is one of the last words Christ gave us, was to go and make disciples of all nations, every nation, tribe, and tongue. And it's very important to His heart, and He's given us a heart for it. So we want to go, and we want to equip, and we want to train, and we want to be a part of that movement in that region of the world. So if you would want to partner with us in bringing that part of the kingdom to earth, and pouring into something that will build heavenly riches for you in heaven, and partner with God, not through us and through what we're doing, as because like I said, it takes a community to go. Some people give, some people sow, some people go, some people cover in those different areas. It's all these work together. So I'm just asking you to pray into like being a part of helping us go. Me and my wife both. I'll post a donation link down at the bottom, and just hope you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully we can partner together and bring in the kingdom to earth, and spreading the gospel and the wealth of the kingdom to every nation, tribe, and tongue. And what's cool is like we train and equip Americans, and they come back to America with that same fire and those same experiences and that same zeal. And it's needed because the kingdom of darkness is loud right now. It's moving in a way that is undeniable. Like, everybody sees it. The darkness is in the light. And now it's time for those who are in the light to stand up and say no. And we need people that are equipped to carry that same fire, that same zeal for the Lord, that same passion, that renewed mind of the kingdom in America as well. and people go out and they get experience with God and they bring that back and they are able to continue that revival fire and that revival that's breaking out now as we speak, and to be able to lead those things and to lead those communities and to lead those um and to lead the next generation and like building up the kingdom. It's needed, and these are a lot of young people that come, so it's really sowing all over. It's globally, nationally, even locally to most people, and it's just a beautiful thing that can be sowed into through what me and Jenna are doing. If you guys would just pray into it and see what the Lord has for you in that. I thank you for your time, and I hope you just enjoy. All right, guys.